So the mulberry is the only one that's industrialized, but the strongest, what we've learned from Janine, is that the strongest one is from the spider. Yeah, but, you know, farming spiders is not very easy to do. First of all, they tend to be aggressive. Second, they're great recyclers. Spiders typically eat up their whole web again, reprocess it into a gel, and then remake the web. So they're not really keen on you taking it away from them. They're just recycling it all the time. So the science that has been developed is understanding the geometry of the mulberry silk and the spider silk. Now, the spider has very amorphous structures of silk. And the mulberry has very crystalline. And so the scientists have developed this little machine, made in Germany, produced by Fritz Vollrath. And this little machine processes exactly the way the spider does it, only using pressure and humidity control. So water is the solvent. That's a nice principle. I like that idea. Water is the solvent, because sulfuric acid is our standard on the market. So when nature uses water, this machine also uses water. And now it is possible to reconvert mulberry silk into spider silk that's stronger than titanium, solely by using pressure and water content. Sounds like physics? Sounds like simple chemistry? But pressure is what controls it. Now, silk is an extremely interesting product, and the company in the United Kingdom, established by Fritz Vollrath and his colleagues, already has 4 products on the market. But the more interesting thing for me is that when you have 1 ton of raw silk per year, you will produce 9 tons of fertilizer. How many fertilizers being produced by petroleum and cornstarch? Now, 5,000 years ago, the Chinese realized they were going to have an overpopulation, and they didn't have enough food production. So the Chinese decided to start planting mulberry trees. Because after 10 years of mulberry trees, these fantastic caterpillars eat 50–60% of the leaves, convert into a fertilizer, and 10 years after having arid land planted with mulberry trees, you could start planting groundnuts, ground squashes. And 25 years later, 40 years later, when the trees are dead, you have fertile land. That's why the Chinese decided 5,000 years ago. And it took them 1,000 years until there was an empress sitting under a tree having a cup of tea that one of the caterpillar's cocoons dropped in her cup. And she tried to get it out of there. And she had 300 yards of silk. And the silk industry was born 1,000 years after mulberry trees were planted. And we forgot everything else but the silk. And so we forgot that in the mind of the Chinese, topsoil regeneration was the key. And we know today that the future of agriculture is totally dependent on our capacity to keep on regenerating topsoil. So now we see the opportunity to still have silk as a byproduct, but now we can see how that dirty machine can be substituted by this. These are silk threads, 300 nanoscale silk threads that are rolling over your face, just like that good old lawn mower that you were pushing forward and that was chopping off the tops. And we've switched that to this crazy thing that cuts this way. This actually shaves smooth. And then we used the prototype, and we had, very unfortunately, an Italian gentleman, and his beard was a bit dense, and it didn't work very well. So I said, excuse us, ladies and gentlemen, where is the biggest growth for razors in the world? China. Have you ever seen a Chinese beard as thick as an Italian beard? I haven't. The density of the beard of a Chinese man is very low. The hair, though, is double the thickness. And therefore, we think that this product will undermine Gillette's strategy in China. We gotta go after the biggies with great ideas. And I went straight to Gillette and presented it to them. And they said, of course, they have 500 people, full-time research on how to make better and closer shaves with blades. Well, it's not going to be blades anymore, and it's going to be as smooth as silk, I guarantee you. But if we're substituting 100,000 tons of metals of those razors with silk, we need to plant 250,000 hectares. I mean, 1,250,000 acres have to be planted with mulberry on dry land which doesn't serve. And how we get it paid? Well, we get it paid by those who want to shave. Now, this is on top of it, generating 1.2 million jobs. Now you can look in the mirror in the morning and say, I'm generating jobs. I'm reforesting. And now I'm even generating topsoil. We don't see the positive effect it has when we can do those fundamental shifts in our economy, in our product designs. What we're seeing today is all the negatives, because what happened with petroleum is not only did it substitute the silk, which is a carbon sink, we're throwing away, of course, our end-of-life razor, but we also have taken completely apart the regeneration of the topsoils and the sinking of carbon into topsoil. And we have eliminated the regeneration of the trees. And it means that we have a triple destruction of carbon sinks because we decided to use steel and titanium, which relies on mining and smelting. And this is really what the blue economy is all about. I don't want to hear about Procter & Gamble saying that they are saving energy on making the titanium. I wonder how you can save energy. Titanium is processed at 3,000 degrees Celsius. In order to process it on there, you need argon gas. So tell me, how are you going to do it sustainably? With less energy? Maybe with less energy, but sustainably. Generating multiple benefits, not only payments of dividends and big checks to your bosses. We are in need of a system that is regenerating the way ecosystems regenerate. And that razor can do it. Polymers with jobs in soil. Rethinking buildings. Health is the most important thing we have to focus on, not energy. What's the pH of this room? It's certainly lower than 4. Now, have you not been reading about acidification of oceans, acidifications, our body, what pH our body should have? We should be alkaline. We should be like the oceans are, because life comes from the ocean. Now, what we have done is we have converted buildings into sources of acidity. And therefore, we need to think again. Why does a zebra have black and white stripes? Think physics. Black gets hot. Hot air rises. Pressure lower. White reflects. Therefore, it's cooler. Therefore, higher air density. High density, low density, wind. It's the best air conditioning system ever invented. Black and white. Our logic is white. No. That's the human brain, and it's learning slowly and steadily how to behave in this ecosystem called the Earth. But white is not the solution, black and white. Differential of colors is a solution. The zebra is capable of decreasing the surface temperature with 9 degrees Celsius. What is our solution? We use insulation inside the building. The zebra takes the heat off outside the building. That's smart. And I'm not against insulation. I'm just saying that the zebra was looking for a more easy solution, a solution that is based on the laws of physics, and for which it doesn't need chemistry. And the chemistry we're using is polyurethane with greenhouse gases. To save energy, excuse me. Well, where's that logic? It cannot be that logic. And so here is the first building that I designed with Anders Nyquist for Daiwa House, which is the largest home builder in the world, Fortune 500 International number 327. And they said, I'll challenge you.